Hey guys, Grant Broggi from the Strength Co. And today I want to talk about something almost every single lifter has dealt with, or really just everyone has dealt with: back pain. And if your back is hurting, what do you do in the weight room? As always, if you like the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. There can be a variety of reasons that you're dealing with back pain. It could be from incorrect form in the gym. It could be because you're 60 years old and you're an upright creature that has compression going on all the time. People's back hurts. It's a part of the deal. The question is, how do I manage my back pain the most effectively? One of the reasons that we advocate for barbells in training is to prevent back pain, because if you get the muscles around your lumbar and around your disc stronger, generally you experience less back pain. A lot of the people that I train with, their number one review is, my back pain went away once I started lifting. Once you teach someone how to deadlift and squat correctly, back pain can be reduced. However, with that said, you are still gonna tweak your back. If someone walks into my gym and tells me that they're here because of their back pain and because they've tweaked their back or they chronically tweaked their back, the first thing I tell them is this: you're gonna tweak your back again. What you have to understand is how to manage it so that it doesn't take you out for weeks at a time. When you tweak your back, I understand how bad it can hurt. You go to get out of bed in the morning and it feels like you can't walk. You get up out of your chair at your desk and it's like, oh, it's controlling all of your thoughts, all of your mind. So much so that you might go to a doctor. And if you go to a doctor, unfortunately, the doctor's probably gonna tell you, rest, don't lift anything over 30 pounds, 50 pounds, 15 pounds. I don't know where they pick these numbers, but he's not gonna want you to use their back. My advice today is gonna be the exact opposite. We want to use the back. We want to get blood flow to the back. We want to restore function and movement to the back so that you can literally get back on your feet and get back to lifting. There's two guys I really like on YouTube named Bob and Brad. They call themselves the two most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Bob and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Now, the video we're gonna watch today and see some of today is called the McKinsey Method, and it's a stretching routine that they really say is helpful for people dealing with sciatica and back pain. I have found that this helps for almost everyone experiencing back pain, whether or not the sciatica is involved, or if it's a disc, or if it's muscle inflammation. It's a very useful stretch. So I'm gonna show you how to do it today. And then we're gonna kind of lay out a program of, hey, if I hurt my back, whether it's in the gym or out of the gym, what is my plan of attack to get back to lifting and get back to moving around as quickly as possible? The first thing is gonna be this stretch. So the first thing you're gonna do is lay down in the prone position. And from that position, you're gonna make sure that your hips are on the floor and you're gonna put your hands in a push-up position with the fingers facing straight forward, just outside the shoulders. What we want to do, hopefully, is essentially do a push-up with my hips remaining on the floor. This is going to put my low back in some traction, get blood flow to the area, and help. But you might find when you first start, you can only get a couple inches of range of motion before your back starts screaming. If that's the case, not to worry. Get as much range of motion as you can and then hold that position for 8 to 10 seconds. Come down, chest back on the floor, relax for a moment. Set your hands again and begin your next press up. Hopefully this time you get a little bit higher. If you do, great. Hold it where the pain is tolerable for 8, 10, 12 seconds. Back down, relax again. And you're gonna keep doing this process over and over until hopefully your elbows are completely locked out at the top. If you do this, the moment you get up off the floor, your back is gonna feel so much better. Here's the bad news. It's gonna feel so much better for a little while. You're gonna get up, you're gonna go about your business and go about your day, and hopefully go to lifting, which we'll cover in a second, but the back pain might creep in. So if I have someone that I'm dealing with has some type of back pain or tweak or injury that they're dealing with, I tell them to do 3 sets of 10-second holds once they've gotten to their elbows all the way locked out, 3 to 5 times a day or as much as needed. It's going to provide some really good pain relief. So we talked about the stretch as kind of the first form of attack, first layer of defense to get and alleviate that pain, which is great. But I actually want to do much more than that. So I might start with that stretch and then I'm going to try to deadlift. Now you may find, depending on how bad your pain is, that you can deadlift off the floor just fine. But if your back is hurting, what I recommend is starting with a rack pull, probably even above the knee. So you'll set up the bar in the rack, or it could be on spotter arms. If you don't have this kind of rack at home, you could use something to elevate the ends of the bars on the side. But basically, you want to get the bar just above the knee. Then you're going to bend at the waist and grip the bar, and then you're going to slowly perform a deadlift. You're just performing it from a higher start position. What you'll find is that, kind of like the prone press up, reps 1 through 5 are probably going to be really painful. So much so that you're going to be like, should I do this? But remember, it's a 45-pound bar. There's only so much damage you could actually do. Stay with the set. And what you'll find is as you get north of 6 reps, 7, 8, 9, 10, the back pain's going to start to get better. So you do a couple sets of 10 and you go, wow, this is now manageable. What do? Lower the bar. So rather than add weight to the bar and increase the load at that high position, we're first going to see if we can get even more range of motion out of the low back to make it feel better. So we're going to lower the bar, upper shin just below the knee, and do the same thing. Again, early on in the sets, you might experience pain. Stay with the set and try and get it up. Ultimately, we're going to try and get this bar all the way down to the floor. And you need to have weights so that you can load it lightly and have it on the floor, or set your rack very low so you can keep the weight light. At that point, you're going to start to load it. Now, real quick, before we get into loading a deadlift off the floor, let's talk about what happens is if, as you increase the range of motion, the pain gets worse. So let's say you do 3 sets of 10 above the knee. No problem, everything's feeling a little bit better. So then you go down to the little bit lower rack pull below the knee, and no problem, couple sets of 10, feeling much better. And then you go to pull it off the floor with rubber 10s on each side, 65 pounds, and you feel extreme pain. Try it. Sometimes it can get better, but if you notice a sharp uptick in pain as you increase that range of motion, then we're not going to train down there. Basically, what we're trying to find is what range of motion can the back tolerate where the pain is constant. So my back hurts. I start rack pulling. My back still hurts, but the pain doesn't get worse. And hopefully it's getting better as the set goes on. That's what we're after. Then once I find that sweet spot, I'm going to start to load it over a few sessions, day to day. We'll get into that in a second. But if I find a range of motion that as I go there, the pain increases dramatically, hey, that's not worth it, at least for today. So as much range of motion as we can that's bearable and where pain is flatline. It's the same. I'm not saying it's going to feel great. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I'm going to say we're okay if the movement doesn't make the pain worse. So you're able to get the bar on the floor all the way down. That's right. You walked in the gym, back hurting, you thinking your life was over and you'll never be able to lift again. You did the prone press ups, the McKinsey method, you did some rack pulling, and here you are. You've just done 95 for 8 and you feel okay. Hey, load the deadlift. Your back can tolerate a lot more than you think. A lot more than you think. And one of the biggest things that I see for people in recovery or recovering from pain is their brain. If you approach this thing of, I tweaked my back, I'm gonna be out for 2 weeks, there's no way that I'm ever gonna be able to lift again. I built my deadlift up, now I'm gonna have to rebuild it. That's probably what's gonna happen. I'm not just throwing hippie stuff at you saying think positive, it's all rainbows and butterflies, but if you have a positive outlook of how you're gonna rehab your back, you're most likely going to have more success. One, because it's just your outlook and you're convincing yourself that, hey, I can use my back. The second thing is you'll actually use your back, because if you think about it with a positive mental outlook, you'll actually walk in the gym. You'll actually do the prone press-ups. You'll actually do the rack pulls and the deadlifts. And the next thing you know, you'll be back on your feet. So let's talk through an ideal scenario. You get to the point where you can deadlift off the floor into this recovery session. What do? How heavy do you go? Same concept applies that we used in range of motion. We're gonna go up and load as long as there's no increase in pain. Again, some pain is okay. It's okay for things to hurt. But if I get an increase in pain, then I'm gonna stop going up and I'm gonna do, 2, 3 sets of 5, whatever feels good. You're actually going to go, wow, when I do that set, I feel better. If that's the case, maybe you want a little bit more. The key thing here though, is if you have success like that, you got to come back the very next day. And remember, that success built up over the entire session. You started with prone press-ups. You couldn't even get them all the way locked out. Then you rack pulled about above the knee. It was a progression that got you to the deadlift. So you may come in the next day having had a great finishing session yesterday, but you wake up in the morning and all the back pain is back. And you may walk into the gym and you're back to square one with the prone press-ups. Do it anyway. And then keep in mind of how back usage makes your back feel better. So when you hurt your back and you're not in the gym and you're at work or you're in the office, or you're getting out of the car, back to that mindset. Hey, that hurts because I just changed my back's environment and it's all I can think about, but I know if I lay on the floor for a few minutes and do these press-ups, my back pain will feel better. Okay, so to wrap it all up, back pain, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen to you. You need to use your back for it to get better. Now, are there other things that can help your back? There's a lot of stuff on the internet, icy hot, Liver King ice baths. I mean, you name it, people want you to do a whole bunch of stuff. I see it like stretching. If it makes you feel better, do it. Do I think an icy hot pat's gonna do a whole lot to your back, like actually fix it? Not really. But if it gives you peace of mind and helps that positive mental outlook on your recovery, go ahead and use it. I do think if you can tolerate NSAIDs that, an ibuprofen can be helpful to reduce inflammation as you're going through and doing this rehab process. So if you hurt your back, don't stay out of the gym, get in the gym. As always, if you like the video, like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.